name yet. We have to.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the first broadcast of the District 66 Public Access Toastmasters. So we're definitely starting 2016 off with a brand new adventure for our district by taking us to whole new heights and allowing us to enjoy the communicating on TV experience. So this afternoon, we have the privilege of interviewing through a panel discussion several key members, as you see, these wonderful ladies on stage with me now. And they're going to help us to understand and fully appreciate why we should have Toastmaster experience on TV in the first place, so that we can understand the value, the meaning, the purpose, and what we can all get from it and grow as a result. So let's take a moment to introduce ourselves, if you don't already know, our wonderful panelists. And we'll just start here with Naomi. Naomi, please introduce yourself to the wonderful people out there.
Hello, my name is Naomi Lewis, and I'm the Club Growth Director for District 66. What that means is I am responsible for helping to grow the district's membership and to establish new clubs like the Public Access Club that we're bringing to District 66 today.
Yeah. And Erica?
My name is Erica Lenny. I'm a member of Community Speakers in Chesapeake, Virginia. I'm also a television producer with an award-winning international program called Turning Point that airs throughout Africa, the Caribbean, and Europe. And I am testifying that Toastmasters has helped me greatly in my television career.
Thank you. Holly?
Hello, my name is Holly Flood. I am a member of Western Branch Toastmasters in Portsmouth, Virginia, and I'm also a television producer. I have been in television for 20 years, and since I've been a Toastmaster over the last couple of years, I have made some changes in how I do what I do.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And we're not only joined in the studio by our panelists, but we actually have a live studio audience. So everyone clap or there we go. Yeah. Wonderful. So we'll get started, immediately jump right into the program. So as mentioned earlier, the main purpose for today's broadcast is to focus on the value that Toastmasters here in District 66 can receive by transitioning their communication and leadership skills into a TV studio, such as the one we're in right now. So we're gonna have the assistance of Naomi, Erica, and Holly to help us learn more about their own personal and professional journeys, what they have learned from their Toastmasters experience, and why they feel as if making this move towards TV is the best thing for our district. So let's get started with our Club Growth Director, Ms. Naomi Lewis.
I think that public access TV gives us a great opportunity to take the skills that we're learning in our meetings and take them to a completely different level. We have a lot of members who aspire to be professional speakers. They own their own businesses, and they'll have opportunities to speak on camera, and if you don't actually practice that skill, then you don't know how well you do. And I think this is the perfect platform for us to help them to gain those skills.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Naomi. Erica?
One of my jobs with Turning Point, I do on-air talent, which means I interview people. And I can tell when I interview people who is prepared for interviews and who has not prepared for interviews. One of my coworkers interviewed a gentleman that I think he did some work with Toastmasters, but before she asked questions, he already knew what he was going to talk about before he got there. His book, himself, and his mission. And he was able to communicate that very well, versus where I've had other guests on who were not as well spoken, and they really didn't get across the point they were really there and trying to make. And they could have had a much better impact had they been just a little bit more prepared or could articulate a little bit better their thoughts and have organized their thoughts a little bit better. And so that I can see how Toastmasters can help individuals with their goal, what they're trying to achieve.
Excellent. Holly?
Well, one thing I've learned in my time in television is that television is influence. Nothing more, nothing less. You have an opportunity to impact every person who's watching. And I think this is important because it helps us learn how to take advantage of that influence. Whatever we want to do, all of us have personal goals in Toastmasters, right? So whatever that goal is, television gives you, and public access gives you an opportunity, a platform, I should say, to actually influence people with the message that you want to get across. And so that's what I do. That's what I believe. I say I'm called to do it. And I know that she talked about some of the things that we do. Erica and I actually work on the same program. But one thing that we do is a segment called Inspire Minute. So in addition to being a producer, I'm also on-air personality. So I have a minute to impact my audience. And we have a reach of more than 70 million people around the world, right? I have 1 minute to stand in front of them and say something. And so when we have a platform like this or an opportunity like this, what it does is whether you're being interviewed or you're the moderator or whatever that is, you know how to use that 1 minute or that 30 seconds or whatever you have to use it most effectively. And that's why I think this is important.
All right, thank you. So when it comes to making that move, as Toastmasters in the district, we always encourage them to get out in front of an audience, whether it's your club or outside of the club environment. But what is the difference then between speaking to your club within a traditional setting and communicating that same empowering or inspirational message to a television camera or a TV audience? Is there a difference? And if so, what is that difference?
I think it goes back to what I just said about influence, because we would try to influence somebody who's another member of Toastmasters a completely different way that we want to influence viewers and people who might potentially come to something that we're going to do, because most people want to go somewhere else with this, right? So I think it's different. I think there are some similarities, but I think it's different, and I think it's different in a good way. But you can speak differently. You can say things that you wouldn't say. I wouldn't say to you as another Toastmaster, right? But I have an opportunity to even teach them some of the things that I've learned through Toastmasters if they want to improve in leadership or communications.
Erica?
I think the difference is when you're speaking in front of people, you can feel the energy from people.
Yes.
But when you're in front of the camera, you are the energy. And so for me, the thing that helped me with my Inspire Minutes was the storyteller manual. That helped me because when I do an Inspire Minute, I take something from my personal life that I went through or something that happened to me, and I have to make that into a story. It's a true story, but I have to make it exciting. I have to connect. I have to have my emotions. I have to know when to pause. I have to know, what facial expression to make. I have to know exactly how to tell that story that communicates that the person behind the camera can feel me and feel exactly what I'm saying. And so that is the thing that helped me, even the vocal variety, organizing your speech, all of that stuff in the CC and even in the storyteller manuals really groomed me to do those Inspire Minutes. And even to tell the stories as a producer, to be able to tell the story even in writing, it's helped me in that aspect as well. So I think as far as like I think just the difference is when you're on camera, you may not be able to feed off of, if you don't have a live audience, you may not be able to feed off of them, but you have to be the energy that's being fed off of.
Right.
So I think that's the difference.
Being that energy, keeping the audience engaged, even though they're not in the same room with you, no doubt would definitely be a challenge. So when it comes to the people that may be considering joining this club or enjoying this experience along with us, but they may be a little reluctant when it comes to being on TV or being filmed or having that recording of what they're doing, what advice would you give to them in order to give them that extra boost of encouragement or motivation to take that jump or to take that leap?
You want to start?
Just do it and keep doing it. You ever hear people, politicians and stuff, who say stuff and their mic is on, and you think, why are you talking and the mic is on? Well, I found out because you get so comfortable, and once you do in front of the camera so much, you get comfortable. And there's been times I forgot the mic was on, and I'm just running my mouth, and I'm like, oh, the mic is on, let me shut up, because you get that comfortable at times. And so you have to do it, keep doing it, and it's not like you can't, it's the camera. The camera's not going to do anything to you. And so you just become comfortable. It's just like another person, like you're talking to. I think it's easier, honestly, if it's just me and the camera than me with a bunch of people in front of me. Because, I can just talk to the camera. The camera's not going to say anything back. The camera's not going to laugh. So I think if you just keep doing it and just become comfortable with it and don't overthink it. When we both first started, we looked like deer in headlights, you know? And we just kept getting critiques, and you just keep doing it. I think that's the big thing.
Beautiful. I love the diving in concept. Yes, please. Great. I love the concept that you both kind of chimed in of just diving in and just doing it and keep doing it. Because when you think about it, that's the essence of Toastmasters as it is. We encourage new members that come to our club, where there's table topics or an icebreaker speech, to just dive in and enjoy the experiential learning process of learning by doing. So the District 66 Public Access TV Toastmaster Club will help us to do just that, because it's going to be something new for a lot of us throughout the district to be able to learn from and enjoy. So Naomi Lewis, this was your passion project, your baby. So can you please share some of the details about your vision, or the now vision of our growing club?
I really believe that it's going to be a vision that somewhat unfolds. When I first thought of the idea, I looked on the internet and saw a couple of other districts that were doing it, and I think the important thing is that we keep it conversational and keep it entertaining. Let people enjoy what they're doing. I know a lot of people have messages that they want to get out beyond just their clubs, and this is the perfect opportunity for them to do that. You can have a meeting where you give a speech, you can conduct an interview, you can do panel discussions. During the political season, we could even host a debate. It is really up to us what we do with it. So whatever's in your heart and what your dreams are, I think there's a lot of opportunity for you to experience those things right here in the club that we're forming now.
Right. All right, so with that, we'll now take a moment to allow the audience to ask any questions that you may have about the club, about the experience, your own personal obstacles that you're trying to overcome in order to sign up and join this journey with us. So does anyone have any questions they would like to ask? Yes, Mr. Hicks.
How did this all come about? Whose idea was this?
Okay. All right. Well, we just mentioned that it was Naomi's, Naomi Lewis. It was her passion project.
Repeat the question.
Repeat the question? Great, thank you. Here we go. We're all learning. It's part of the process. So I'm supposed to repeat the question. Keith Hicks asked, who thought of this? Whose idea was this? How did this all come about? So as we mentioned earlier, this was the passion project, or this project, the idea came from Naomi Lewis, and it's growing and more people are involved, and it's just going from there.
That's good, yes, absolutely.
All right, so any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
How often will we meet to go over our manual information? Do we need to practice before we get here, or is it just going to be live off the cuff?
Of course, for any project within Toastmasters, you should have some preparation time, and we need to make sure that the communication between you and the host, who is the Toastmaster, and your evaluator is taking place beforehand, and that you're coordinating with the production crew so that we can make sure that we have the correct setup so that we can minimize time that we're taking before our show starts. But it's a learn by doing. All of us are learning through this process. And so we'll be working out a lot of those details as the club unfolds, exactly how we're going to work together and make this successful.
All right. Great. And for those that did not hear the question, it was asking how often will we be meeting? There we go. How often will we be meeting, and will everything just be off the cuff, or do we need to prepare in advance? So, and when it comes to the meetings, it will be once a month. So instead of the traditional, most clubs throughout the district have the 2 times a month or even weekly, the District 66 Public Access Toastmaster Club will only meet once a month, which is even more incentive for those that may already be part of one club or multiple clubs to still be able to enjoy that experience. Excellent question. And we have another question from the audience. Mr. Hicks again, yes sir.
Will the entire Toastmasters meeting be televised, or just certain segments, speeches, table topics, or the entire meeting?
So will the entire meeting be televised, or just certain segments of
Yes.
it? Excellent question. Naomi, would you like to take that as well?
The entire meeting will not be televised, because what we want to do is give the audience the most exciting parts of our meeting. So for example, if we're holding a business meeting, that's not something necessarily that we want to air. What we will air is the speeches, the whatever the speaking project is. We'll air evaluations sometimes. Items like grammarian, counter, those types of things, we will keep those for after the meeting and off camera.
Excellent. Thank you for the question.
I have
Yes,
a
sir.
question. With so much going on in the world today, even just this little city of Richmond and all the different political things going on, will some of the topics cover different political events or things such as, right now Richmond, this, 9th day of the year, we already had 5 murders. Compared to last year, it was none at this time. Things like that, will we, tackle topics such as that, or that's kind of off the table until we get started and get going and everyone get a little more comfortable in speaking?
So the question then, will we
So
be
the question-
addressing current events or
Yes, current
things
events
are
and
going on
political
within the...
topics, different current events and so on like that, will we tackle topics like that?
Excellent question. Back to Naomi.
I don't think that that's necessarily off the table. Toastmasters encourages you to speak about whatever it is that you would need to speak about. If your desire is to be a newscaster and you need to be able to cover those stories, what better opportunity than for you to come to Public Access TV, give a speech on a topic of that nature, and then have one of us give you feedback on how well you did.
Yes, ma'am.
Will you also learn behind the camera as well as being in front of the camera, like pretty much knowing how to do what she's doing in terms of audio, visual,
Okay.
things?
It's a great question. Will we be able to learn not only what happens on stage, but behind the camera as well, behind the scenes? How about we have Holly answer that question? Switch it up a little bit. There we go.
I'm looking at Naomi again. I'm not quite
Look
sure.
at the signals.
Yes, we
For this
will,
one's
and
gonna-
I am going to defer to Holly to tell you a little bit more about the types of roles that you can execute behind the camera. So Holly, if you can expand on that a little bit, that would be
Behind the camera?
great. Yes.
Okay, so normally we have behind the camera, there's a producer, which I believe Rita is producing for us. You don't see her, but she's in the background, which is what it means to be behind the scenes, right? But she's the producer. We have a camera woman, I'm gonna specifically say, not a camera person, but she's actually getting shots of our audience, which we call cutaway shots in television. And then we have another camera that's a static camera, right? But traditionally, you'll have someone doing audio and editing these things together. We have 2 cameras, so we want to make sure everything's in sync, or they have someone operating a switcher. I did not see what was going on in the back, but I would assume those were some of the things that we have, or positions we have in place. I'm getting a nod. Yes. And we have a floor director. Are you flooring? Yeah. A floor director who basically makes sure everything on the floor is operating properly. So he's giving time cues and things like that to make sure we stay within the time.
How will the many positions be evaluated?
How will the many positions be evaluated, like as part of the meeting then?
With the background, yeah.
Okay. So either in front of the camera or behind the camera, how will we have those roles evaluated?
Those will be evaluated off camera, and right now we are mapping a lot of them to the roles in the Toastmasters program already. Of course, some of them may not be a direct fit, but the experience that you'll receive from doing it will be invaluable.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
How you doing this afternoon? I was invited by Mr. Keith Hicks, I'm a longtime friend of mine. I just wanted to know the information as far as joining the Toastmasters. Is there application process, are there fees involved, or how do we actually become a part of Toastmasters?
So what is the process for joining Toastmasters? Is there application, the fees, all of the technical side?
Yes.
Refer to our club group director, put on that hat now, Naomi Lewis.
Yes, there is, and we have charter applications for each of you available today. The fees for Toastmasters are $6 a month, so we've calculated the first 9 months, which will be $54 plus the club dues. And right now we have them set at $12 a month, but we're going to discuss that as a club to make sure that we have enough to cover any expenses that we may have. If you are a brand new Toastmaster, there's also a $20 new member fee that goes to Toastmasters International, and that covers your first 2 manuals, your competent communicator, your competent leader, access to members-only information on the website, a magazine, and then after you've finished your first communication manual, 2 advanced communication manuals, which is what this club is actually based off of, the Communicating on Film.
Okay, do we have time for another question?
I just have one. How do you guys decide on the stories that get aired? Considering we have so many Toastmasters that are interested, how will preference be given to which stories should make the air and which ones won't be actually taped?
Okay, so how will we decide what stories will make the air and which ones won't make the cut?
Correct.
Okay, great question. Naomi? I feel like we're constantly coming to you. So.
We will not really decide which stories get aired. This is a Toastmasters club. And just as you speak in your club, you have the freedom to pick your topic for the air. We just hope that everybody is conscious of what we're communicating and that because we're filming it and it will be broadcast, that we're projecting a message that is reflects well on Toastmasters. That's the only thing that will be considered.
And just to add on to that, there will still be the standard executive board as in any other club. So we'll still have our president, we'll still have our vice president education to work on developing the program. We'll work on making sure that we're delivering the proper speeches and getting with those that are assigned different roles as well. So the structure of the traditional meeting in that sense will remain the same. We're just bringing it to a different venue. We have another question? Yes, ma'am.
Will it be theme-based? Will we have a theme for each?
We had not considered, the question was, will the meetings be themed? And we had not considered if there will be a specific theme, but I can envision that there are times that there will be appropriate themes. For example, we are entering our contest season.
Whee!
So what better time to have a meeting on what it's like to be a contestant in a contest than during the contest season or early in the season so that we can air that. But we'll make those decisions as the club evolves, and I imagine we will have some that are themed, but there won't be a requirement because we don't want to limit what members can talk about.
Mr. Hicks.
Now that we're going to be chartered today, where would the actual Toastmasters meeting take place? In the studio or is it another setting?
Now that we'll be chartered today, since the club will be official, going forward, where will the official meetings be held?
Yes.
Excellent question.
Naomi.
Naomi.
The plan is to host the meetings here. However, depending on what we are communicating about or what's going on, if we have equipment available to do on location, I am sure that will be something that we can explore. But for now, the plan is to host the meetings here because this provides all of the equipment that we need in order to conduct the meetings.
Do we have any other questions? Well, I have a question for Erica, one of the quiet panelists. When it comes to talking on TV, there's a lot of things that we should not do, the proper etiquette, or the things that we should not, well, of course we know which we shouldn't say, but when it comes to the tips that you and Holly have learned over the years, what are some tips that we can share with those that may be a little concerned about how to sit, how to stand, how to look, what to wear, and all those little details that matter the most?
You can start. Ask you first. You go ahead.
I think as far as how you sit and all those things, what to wear, not a lot of stripes, not a lot of, patterns, which I got on, which I didn't think about when I put this dress on today. But just, if you could do solid colors, try that. They used to say avoid white, but I see people on TV with white all the time now. So, but every camera is different, so I don't know. But just things like that, things that won't necessarily draw people's attention away from what you're saying, because you turn on TV and like, well, look at that, and you don't hear anything they say. As far as sitting, someone had to really teach me, because when I get comfortable and start talking, I lean like I'm at the kitchen table. And our floor director was like, "You're not at the house, Erica. You on TV." So I had to really learn, and I think that just comes with time. Absolutely. And someone watching you and critiquing you. You got to have somebody watching you and giving you feedback.
Great.
And
thank you.
We're
actually out of time.
No. Okay.
That feels funny to say. We're out of time. We thank you for joining us and being here to experience this for the very first time, the very first meeting, the very first broadcast. So for more information, we'll definitely update the website, District 66. If you want to learn more about Toastmasters, we have www.toastmasters.org. But stay tuned, because this club is going to grow and do great things for the district, and we want you all to be a part of that. So thank you for the panelists, thank you for the audience, and thank you for the attention.
Show.